Hello everyone, my name is Joshua's Prime, and I'm back with another Minecraft video. And this one is all about villages, specifically village professions. And even more specifically, new village professions. I've got 10 of them here, and try to explain them as best I can, or the thought process behind them. Mostly it's about expanding what's already in the game, providing a little bit more immersion and ways to get the same kind of items, different ways to do the same thing kind of is the main goal of all of these. None of them are really, there's one kind of unique one we'll save for last, but anyways, the first one, this is the one that kind of makes the most sense I think to be added, is the Beekeeper. And some of these first ones are inspired by System Z, some other YouTubers who I've seen make like Tango, Better Villagers, that kind of thing. Some of them are just kind of on that same idea, but Beekeeper, we'll start here. I think he makes the most sense. His workstation would be the beehive, or is that the bee nest? I'm not sure. Beehive, okay. Yeah, that'd be his workstation, and he would just sell kind of all honey-related items. The candle would be kind of the new thing he would sell, I think. Makes sense with the wax and whatnot, so he'd buy string. I actually had the idea, there's a baker further down. I wanted, since there's a butcher in Minecraft, I thought it'd be kind of a cool thing to have the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. But the Beekeeper kind of serves that same function. You know, by selling candles and the wax. I mean, if you actually had a candlestick maker, boy, you'd have a limited amount of trades, I would think. But anyways, on to the next one, the Botanist. This scrap together armor stand looking thing is the Botanist table, which would be his worker block. And that would be made using this, although now that I think about it, there probably should be a flower pot here instead. So maybe it would be this kind of same setup, but with a flower pot and with bone meal underneath it? I don't know. Digging way too much into that. But you would sell just all the different plant types in the world. And I mainly thought of this end bit, the Spore Blossom, Drip Leaf, and Wither Rose. Now the Wither Rose I thought of for people that play like survival but peaceful, just kind of enjoy exploring and building in the world. Be a way for them to acquire that if they wanted like the aesthetics of it. You know, they wanted a specific, use it for a specific something, I don't know. I'm trying to gauge my sound volume in the background by bringing up the noises up and down, so hopefully they're not too loud. I recorded this once already and it was raining in the world, and you could hear what I was saying just fine, but man, it was really annoying. Anyways, yeah, and the Spore Blossom, Drip Leaf, I more thought of that because in my own survival world currently, I've been wandering kind of aimlessly in all different directions, and I still am yet to find a lush cave, so again, another way to be able to get certain things without having to go out of your way. It's kind of the idea for more simplistic type players. On to the next one. We have, sorry, I'm just dropped something that's picking up. The next one is the Pyrotechnicist table, and this is more trying to do what they did with the loom and banner patterns. I think I saw somewhere there's over like 2 trillion possibilities with fireworks. So this would be a new kind of UI, being able to make your fireworks. You'd have your, I'm not even sure how to make them. Like the exploding type firework. I never use them, but I like it as a feature in the game, so it would be, you know, you'd have a spot for your your main effect and your secondary effect. You know, just a new kind of way that streamlines that process, makes it more immersive rather than having to, you know, log out, go to a wiki, see what you need to find for a specific type of firework you want to make and what have you. So he would sell kind of what you'd expect, the stuff for the effects, the glowstone dust, whatever. He'd be one of the guys that buys diamonds. So I kind of like keeping that, like how some villagers, their trades are just like, why would I why do I want that villager? But I kind of like that aspect of the game. It is kind of immersive in that way. And then the big thing here, like maybe a dispenser, but I also like a crossbow with multi-shot, kind of inspired by, or just a crossbow in general, because you can shoot firework rockets off of them. But reminds me of like that season, towards the end of season 7, or maybe it was the halfway point to season 7 when they had the big firework rocket battle in the new village area for the Village and Pillage update. So kind of the inspiration there, but again, pretty simple, not world breaking or anything. The next one is the engineer. This is kind of what you expect to be. This is like the engineer's station, but he'd be all about redstone. Make it. It's kind of an expensive recipe, but I think it kind of fits. I always wind up with so much redstone because I don't really use it that much besides storage systems. Like I'm not really an automated type guy, or I don't fool around with it too much. So I mean, this isn't expensive to me. But oh man, I lost my train of thought hard there. You probably heard that. Like when the record skips or that bass drop or something, we're just do, and there's just nothing after. It's exactly what happened in my brain. Anyways, let's look at, maybe I'll remember here, but you would trade kind of what you'd expect, all kind of redstone bits and pieces, buy and sell them. I like the idea of him again. Providing dispensers so you don't have to craft them. Is there another one that's really annoying to craft? Thought there was more there, but don't remember. Something about this here, wasn't it? Well, I guess it's just a mystery. On to the next one. This is the baker. And again, like I said, inspired by the idea of the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. But he's got his baker's oven there, would be his workstation. It's made by trapdoors with sugar and coal. It doesn't really make sense functionally if it was somehow applied to the real world, but I mean, I don't think it necessarily has to. With a lot of things in Minecraft aren't like that. So, anyways, he would sell kind of what you would expect. Cocoa beans. I mean, there's a lot of overlap here with farmers, but the cocoa beans kind of an interesting thing. Maybe he would buy honey as well. Should probably flip that. But I mean, if you make a cocoa bean farm, sell that. Oh, his big thing here though would be milk, and this I thought of after in my survival world, like 2 or 3 times in a row I'd be running home, like I'd run into a pillager patrol, or I'd just have something happen where I just, like, it was easier to fight my way through them. But then after I did and I was closer to home, then I kind of had to run around my area because I have my villagers all right there. So I had to run around the whole thing, go find a cow, get the milk there, and get rid of the effect. What this is, it's essentially stackable, and you couldn't like craft this. I mean, they have bottles in the bucket of milk, but I don't think they should have it where you'd pour it into bottles or anything. I think this would be like kind of his exclusive trade. It'd be a stackable version of something that can help you get rid of status effects. Might also make for interesting new ways of clearing out ocean monuments, or doing something different with them if you don't want to get rid of the Elder Guardians, but you want to be able to work in there. You know, you have a stackable, essentially nullifier of status effects. But so this guy's probably the most in-depth one. We'll save him. We'll start over at this end. Next we have the Aquanaut. His profession block is the aquarium. That'd be made glass surrounding the water bucket, and he would sell just all these kind of, I tried to make it make sense. His big thing would be the Heart of the Sea or Potion of Water Breathing. Maybe this would be one of. Buy and sell coral, kind of a renewable source, or if you don't really mess around with coral too much, you could, you know, you have something there. But the big thing here, oh, the trident. Also, that'd be nice. Like, you can always see the tridents that the the drowned, when they throw them, you can see them laying all over the ocean floor and whatnot. So I think makes sense if there's somebody who went and collected all those, because since the player themselves can't physically go get them. But the big thing here is sand. Since now that we have renewable gravel with the piglins, we still don't have renewable sand. I mean, sand's pretty easy to come by, but like after you clear out, I think in my mind this is more for probably multiplayer servers or something like that. You know, after you clear out a desert and you keep having to go further and further away, it'd be nice to have a renewable source of sand. And I think having a villager do that, again, it's more the immersion, but it also, I think it kind of like ties the whole game together. You know, doing different ways to do the same thing. Yeah, that's what I said earlier, I believe. So it's kind of the whole idea here with him as well. Next, this one was just for fun. It's the jester, the minstrel. His occupation block is the jukebox, but the whole idea behind this villager was kind of how all these. I'll go over here and turn it up. Get really in the chaos. Yeah, all the mumbles and hums and haws of the villagers. I kind of thought that same thing, but what if they had a little bit more of a musical tone to them, and there'd just be one he would have, 4 to 6 different songs. He'd walk around like rather than all their normal mumbles. But that was a whole inspiration behind this. And then he would, buy and sell stuff for notebooks, and then probably records too. Maybe he'd buy some, sell some. I don't know exactly how rare any of the records are, besides Pig Step and Other Side. I know they're the newest ones anyway. But I mean, nothing too fancy. It's just like the idea of having one villager kind of a more distinct voice than the babies and the adults. So anyways, on to the next one, the medic. This one would be made cut copper in 2 glass bottles. I just kind of wanted to incorporate them somehow, even though it looks nothing like the medic's table. But he would buy and sell kind of all stuff related to like potion of weakness, fermented spider eye, milk bucket, kind of stuff related to curing villagers, the golden apple, and then stuff like to help the player, like the magnum cream. I think that's fire resistance, whatnot. Golden carrot obviously is. Dragon's breath would help him, in theory, in the world, in the universe of Minecraft. It would help him create longer lasting potions to help his villager brethren. I also like the idea of having him sell the soul lantern, mainly just because librarians sell the regular lanterns, and it makes sense that... Wait, what am I trying to say? Oh, with like soul lanterns, or is it soul torches? I don't remember. That show up in igloos or like frozen villages. If there's kind of a reason for that, someplace they would get them within their own civilization or what have you. But the other part I had probably wouldn't be the Totem of Undying, but I had an idea, like they had 6 new totems. Since the Totem of Undying is kind of powerful in what it does, I don't think it makes sense for villagers. Pillagers, it makes sense. You kind of have to go to take on some tough opponents, but villagers, if you're just trading, I think some simpler totems. So I came up with the Totem of Green Thumb, which probably doesn't necessarily make sense for a medic, but originally I was going to have this guy be a shaman, and then I realized as I was doing it, it's basically coming up with the same trades as a cleric. So, but the Totem of Green Thumb would be like if you used it and ran through a field, it would essentially like make you very similar. You would act as like a bee almost, or Totem of Pollination maybe it would be called. Whereas you'd increase the percentages of crop growth and things of that nature. The other one is the Totem of Invisibility, again running home. As I think so much of the my scenarios are based around running home with a lot of resources and low food or bad armor or something. So, oops, I ran the wrong one. But yeah, the totem of invisibility, you pop that and you'd just be invisible. Maybe not even like to the look of the camera, but just to mobs or something. But I'm sure there's tons more videos out there. I know I've seen a couple where they have like a whole, 20 new totems to add to Minecraft or something. I think it could get really cool and interesting with the way they do that, but have them be ran through the villagers instead for some lesser effects. Anyways, that's kind of it there. Next one is the Lumberjack. Pretty straightforward, the little table saw. Basically on the stone cutter, just doing it for logs and stuff, but I like it having to make them wood just so gives you a reason, or you kind of have to do a little bit extra for it, and it actually works out perfectly if you do the 4 logs into it makes 3 wood, so I mean it does work out well. But it would be the same thing as a stone cutter, just give you all the available choices for a given log. I'm not sure if these are actually the right quantities, but someone much smarter and better at this game could probably do that. I know Mojang, it'd probably be really simple for them to implement this. But anyways, the Lumberjack, his big thing would be a good diamond axe. Otherwise, you kind of buy and sell just wooden things. I like the idea of buying and selling kind of strip logs just for some variance in the game. This is more immersion. And the other thing I like the idea of is charcoal, renewable source. Although you could just make a tree farm and have all the trees cook into charcoal, but I kind of like using everything in the game as I'm running about my world. Like usually in my auto smelter, I'll have I don't really stick to one fuel source. I like changing it up for some reason. It doesn't it doesn't really do anything. It's just a me thing. But I have my blaze rods and my lava buckets and I'll have bamboo, coal. I can't even think off the top of my head what all. But I pick and choose what I want to use as my fuel source. Sometimes I'll just use wood. So there's not really. This is more for me because I just don't like making charcoal myself. Anyways, I'll probably get out of that. But yeah, it's much more just having that, I guess, in my eyes. I always do that. I think most people just find what they like and just stick to it, but I like having all the different fuel types you can have. Kelp. That's the word I think I was trying to remember. Anyways, that's all I really have for the Lumberjack. But finally, on to the Jeweler. And this one is going to take some explanation, so I'll try to make sense of it here. This would be how you craft the table. Just the planks, spyglass, a glass pane. Makes the Jeweler's table. Let's get out of there. And with the Jeweler, I introduced 3 new gemstones or kind of stuff they would use. First one here is supposed to be opal. Kind of came out derpy because I broke this block and had it kind of looking okay. It used to be stone, and then when I tried to piston it back, those armor stands all moved. Even though I'm using the lock feature, I think they still move if you push them around. So I had to put a transparent block in there and then move them all back, and it just doesn't look how it used to. So obviously, Mojang, if you like the idea of opal, don't use this texture because it looks dumb. But again, you probably find more functions for opal. For me, or for this, I really only have it as being a way to trade with the Jeweler. It might be both this and this next one. Maybe you could craft them in, and they'd be kind of like amethyst, where they'd have 1 other or 2 other functions with more of a decorative block, something like that. Next one is the onyx. Again, it looks pretty dumb, but Again, another way to trade with the jeweler. Onyx stone, I feel like it would be used for something cool magically. I don't know where they incorporate it, but it seems like I've heard that term before relating to magic. So, and then finally the pearl, and this would include a new mob, the clam, or the giant clam maybe. And yeah, there'd be pearls there. So maybe like the Aquanaut would trade these also. You could get it from him and then sell them to the jeweler, or you could find them on your own. Not sure what all they would serve the function of, but it'd be cool to have some new kind of different gemstones and different ways of getting them. But anyways, what would he actually trade? So obviously we have the pearl, the opal, the onyx, amethyst makes sense, gold. You know, he's making jewelry and such. But the big thing here, I think would be cool is if, and you can only get it through him, would be to have him have bronze. You give him emerald and gold, because in real life I think bronze is made from, it's an alloy of gold and zinc, if I remember right. Or maybe it can be made a couple different ways, but you can use this to make swords, armor, that kind of stuff. It'd have like the efficiency of gold, but the strength of iron, kind of in between, maybe a little bit stronger in iron. But like if you had a bronze like hoe or something, it'd be a good combo of those two. Like not as good as diamond, but in between, better than either of these would be on their own type thing. The other thing he'd have is rings, and these are all kind of like just what those status effects say underneath. The power ring has knockback, fire resistant, or fire ring has fire protection, and feather falling has, the light ring has feather falling. I'm reading them in reverse. Again, this is more thinking about on your running home, middle of the night, low resources, come into a horde of zombies or something. If you got knockback, you just punch your way through, make it through. Fire protection. Let's say you have it on you, like in your hotbar, and fall into lava or something. They're only level 1 enchants, so I mean, it's not like, you know, world breaking or anything. But like if you fall on lava and just need a couple extra seconds to get yourself into a spot that you're okay with. Feather falling, I don't know if you'll be able to put that on fast enough, but maybe you just want it. That kind of idea. The other thing he'd have is these brooches, the wolf's brooch and the creeper brooch, and they'd be kind of like this. They would take up the spot of your chest plate, but again with the idea of running home and whatnot. What these would function as, so it's got the little cat head in right here. If you had this on, creepers would see you as a cat and run away. And this one I thought of more actually for building, like building up a tall structure, or just like laying out an area and then you turn, there's a creeper right there or something like that. The wolf's brooch, I keep looking in the wrong ones. The wolf's brooch would obviously do the same thing, but for skeletons. And that's one I really thought of more for builders, like pillaring up. Like let's say you're 12 blocks up in the air and all of a sudden skeleton shoots you off your tower while you're trying to lay something out. But I mean, they would both be kind of nice. They wouldn't have any protection themselves, like you would actually lose armor by wearing them. Or, you know, your armor, what are they called? Points or whatever, like your health bar, but the armor. But it would just be a way to deter certain mobs as you're running through, so. And then finally, and this part is probably a little controversial, but because it might be OP, but he would actually buy diamonds. And I think I kind of have a way to make this not OP, because I'm thinking of it more for like end game or going back to get your items. Like let's say you just died or something like that. And what this would be, so you could buy, he would only sell 1 diamond, whether you cured him or not. And unlike other, like, you know, all villagers, their trades refresh after they go to their workstation halfway through the day. This wouldn't. This would, and not every jeweler would be guaranteed. They'd probably have some other thing here. Maybe you get one brooch and you get another ring, or you get the other one. You know, they can mix and match, but so you could only, it wouldn't be guaranteed that they'd get it, and then they'd only have it once a day. So I mean, you could, in theory, you could still set up like a line of like 100 villagers and trade them all one day, and you get, you know, how much? What am I trying to say? You could still get diamonds that way, you know. But, I mean, let's say they'd also wouldn't be one diamond. You know, I'd probably make it like 32 emeralds for one diamond. Or wait, am I saying that right? Yeah, like 32 diamonds. That price wouldn't go down if he was cured. So let's say that's 32 diamonds, and they only trade once a day. And you have your long line, you could do that. But to me, honestly, I'd rather go mining. I mean, diamonds are usually pretty easy to come by. You could get the same amount probably in 15 minutes, whereas if you get 100 villagers, plus all the sorting of villagers you'd have to do to ensure they have that, and then you can only do it once. Like, in my mind, it's still easier to just go mining, but maybe this is still too OP, I'm not sure. But anyways, it's a simpler video, some new villager ideas. That's all I really have here. Got some more videos in the works, trying to be a little bit more consistent. So anyways, I've been Joshmus Prime. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.